welcome to Smaulgld's monthly update of the gold reserves of the country of Kazakhstan. This is a first report on the gold reserves of Kazakhstan. I've been following them for about a year or so now, and they, along with Russia and China, are really among the only countries whose central banks are adding gold to their reserves. And Kazakhstan deserves special notice because it's a small country, but yet it is adding relatively significant amounts of gold to her reserves. So I'm going to start reporting monthly on her gold reserve position. Kazakhstan added 101,000 ounces of gold to her reserves in October. The National Bank of Kazakhstan added 3.1 tons or 101,000 ounces of gold to reserves in October. Total gold reserves for Kazakhstan now stand at 252 tons at the end of 2016. Kazakhstan gold reserves ranked 21st in the world. As I mentioned, along with the Central Bank of Russia and the People's Bank of China, which Smaulgld reports on monthly, you can click on those links and you can see the monthly reports for the past few years for both of those countries' central banks. But Kazakhstan has also been adding, and it's time for it to receive some monthly attention. I managed to put together some of the numbers for the Kazakhstan gold reserves for the past couple of years. You could see in January 2015 they were under 200 tons, and in the past 24 months or less than 24 months, last 19 months or so, they've managed to add over 50 tons of gold to their reserves. A pretty significant amount, especially for a country who we will see it's a relatively small country with small amounts of reserves. So the National Bank of Kazakhstan's foreign reserves were only 30.314 billion at the end of October, and that was down from 31.23 billion at the end of September. But despite the fact that their overall foreign reserves went down, we're seeing this trend in China too. They're still adding gold, but Kazakhstan is adding gold as a percentage of reserves at a much faster rate than China due to its relative small size. And also, its overall reserves that are held in gold are at about 34% of overall reserves versus about 2% for China and 15% for Russia. Just to put in perspective, last month China added only about 140,000, not China, but the People's Bank of China added only about 140,000 ounces of gold, and Kazakhstan, as small as she is, added 101,000 ounces. Now, in contrast, Russia added 1.3 million ounces, but still, Russia is a much larger country. Russia has over 10 times the size of the reserves. Russia has about $390 billion in reserves, and Kazakhstan, as you see, has only $30 billion. But if you take into account the full reserve position of Kazakhstan, it lists 8.09 million ounces or 251 or 252 metric tons. And if you take the price of gold at the end of October, that was worth about 10.29 billion, which makes their gold worth about more than a third or 34% of overall reserves. As we mentioned, Russia's gold represents about 15% of their overall reserves, and China, because it has it has over $3 trillion in reserves. It has 1.2 trillion in U.S. Treasury securities. Its gold value is only about 2% of their overall foreign reserves. But let's look at the top 21 to top 30 countries. Now, I have a list. If you check out the website, you just go to the top. You can get it here. Click to see the top 40 gold holding nations. You can always get it at the top here, gold reserves by country, top 40. I list what is listed as the official gold reserves of each country. I don't debate them or say they're false or they're lying. I put down what the countries say they have. That's the only thing I can put down. I can't invent numbers. But in any event, those numbers show very little movement in the top 40. The only countries that are moving, and they're moving up, are Russia, China, and Kazakhstan. And Kazakhstan has moved from a top 30 country, closer towards the bottom of the top 30, has moved to number 21. You can see they're at 252 tons of gold. Now, to crack the top 20, I think they have to overtake, they have to get to about 280 tons, which they'll probably get to by the end of next year or so if they continue at their current pace. But in any event, Kazakhstan is a country to keep an eye on in terms of its additions of gold to its reserves. We will be following it. If you're interested in helping support Smaulgld continue this type of research, you can donate to Smaulgld on PayPal. You can purchase your gold or silver through Smaulgld, and if you do so, Smaulgld gets a small commission, and you pay no more, no less than if you visited the sites directly. So please check out the Smaulgld affiliates where you can purchase gold or silver. It's not a recommendation that you do so, but if you are interested in buying gold or silver, please do so through the Smaulgld sites. Compare pricing and shipping at the links provided at the banners, and I'm sure you'll be happy with some of the pricing and shipping and products that you will find on the Smaulgld website. I'll also leave a link to donate to Smaulgld at the bottom of this YouTube, and I will also leave some links for you can make some gold or silver purchases. Thanks again for listening, and please subscribe to Smaulgld.com by filling in your email address here at the top, and also subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow us on Gab at Smaulgld. Follow us on Twitter at Smaulgld. We have Facebook at Smaulgld and Google+. Thank you very much for listening.